Chairwoman Velazquez, Representative Shabbat, and members of the Small Business Committee. It's a pleasure to be here and have the opportunity to speak to you today. An exciting opportunity, I must say. The Technology and Business Center at the College of William and Mary is part of the Department of Economic Development, and as such, we're the college's primary outreach into the community. And we spend, among that, a lot of time working with area technology companies, trying to help them grow, provide jobs for graduating students, link the faculty into these companies to help with projects, vice versa. So we spend a lot of time working with SBIR-oriented type companies. And having worked with those companies, it's clear to us that the SBIR program has had a major influence on the growth of technology in Hampton Roads. And so that leads to several recommendations that we would make with regard to this program, given its certainly local success and major success within the state of Virginia. I think Virginia is number 3 in awards received over the life of the program. Over $1.2 billion has gone into the community of Virginia. And I think the number is somewhere around 40,000 people in this state are employed by companies that have won SBIR awards. So it has been extremely important here. One issue is the program itself. It seems kind of odd that something that has been successful still has to go up for renewal. Therefore, it seems to me that making this a permanent program would be a smart thing to do. It certainly has proved itself time and time again. The next two things are intertwined. It was just mentioned about the cap of 100,000, 750,000, phase 1 and 2. Those caps were assessed in 1992. So certainly the ravages of inflation have driven down the amount of value that you're going to get from that amount of money. It has been recommended by the Senate committee to increase that to 150 for phase 1 and to 1.25 million for phase 2, and we strongly recommend that that be done. Another issue is the ratio with a phase 1, not phase 2, but phase 1 SBIR. The current ratio is 2/3, 1/3. That means that the contractor that gets the award must keep 2/3 they can, if they want, subcontract 1/3. Again, given the current caps, 1/3 of $100,000 is $33,000, which is not much to do some kind of sophisticated feasibility study. Remember, phase 1 is looking at really advanced state-of-the-art, so you need enough money to be able to do that. And $33,000 is not much. Furthermore, if you're going to do that with a college, the college has to take out overhead, leaving only about $21,000 for professors. And that's true every college in the United States, essentially. William and Mary is not unique there. So that does not leave very much money for the professors to work on. So we would recommend taking a look at that split. Not quite sure where those numbers came from, and change it to 55%, 45%. If you then combine that with increasing the cap, now you've got a reasonable amount of money to do some very serious research, and particularly that comes into play when you have to use more than one collaborator. Sometimes there may be 2 collaborators with the prime contractor on a project, so that would be a very useful thing. In addition, it has been recommended by several bodies that the overall funding of the program be increased to 5%. It would seem reasonable to increase that from its current 2.5% of extramural funds to 5.5% in 0.5% increments over a period of years to get it up to a higher funding level. There's obviously, if you increase the current cap, that has to come out of somewhere. If you don't increase the program size, ultimately you will reduce the number of awards. So increasing the total amount of money in the program would help offset that. And the next one is a recommendation that's a little exterior to the program, but I think really important. There's a lot going on right now through a program called Commercialization Pilot Program, and that's a program that has instructed the agencies to implement commercialization projects to help get from phase 2 into the commercialization phase. And some of those are very, very good projects, especially the one that's being done by NIH is good. John Williams, who runs the Navy program, has done an excellent job in that. But to my mind, that's not quite the issue. And of course, we look at this from a college perspective. What we have found with the companies that we work with is that the issue is at the front end. It's really at the phase one end. These are entrepreneurs, usually high-tech people, technologists, scientists. When they start their company, their real education in the process of business is minimal. And so many of them struggle mightily to try to get to a phase two. And when they ultimately get a phase two, they struggle mightily to perform it. And a very major reason for that is just a flat lack of real business education. We implemented at Williamsburg what we call a modular education program. We ran it for 8 companies last year. 6 of them were SBIR winners. Went through 5 basic areas of business with them, gave them access to professors following the program, and we found it to be enormously successful. It gives them the basic education, so at least they know what they need to know. And when they get to the points where they're ready to start implementing more complex things, not only are they better able to do that, but they've got a little bit of background on the right questions to ask, and they've also built a link into the university so you can ask the professors to help them. So that program can be funded through the FAST program, which is the Federal and State Technology Partnership Program. I do not believe it's funded at the moment. That program, by the way, was instrumental in helping the Center for Innovative Technology for the state of Virginia, which is our technology secretariat, to implement phase one program, and indeed allowed them to hire a fellow named Robert Brook, who's here today, who runs that program very successfully for us. So we've seen the FAST program work. That is part of what helped drive this program that we implemented through CIT last year. And I think that's something that could be implemented fairly simply and quickly through just about every college in the United States. So again, thank you very much. There's other comments in the testimony that I submitted to you, and appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.